Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. TammyTalks here. Let's talk Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14, episode 17. This was the season finale, a fashion show with fashions. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbsing up the video, and then hopping into the comment section. All right. So, episode starts off. We see, the montage of all the different ladies doing different things. Kandi's in the car with Blaze. Blaze is singing. Kandi's clapping and singing along with her daughter. She's very cute. She looks just like Kandi. Then we get Drew. Drew was talking to her mom about her Achilles, how it is on track. She's healing very well. So her mom is like, so I can go home now? Because her mom's ready to go home. She don't want to be there. We pan over to Kenya. Kenya is on the phone on FaceTime with her head of sales. We know that Kenya was saying a couple episodes back that Kenya Moore Hair Care was in danger of losing some deals because Kenya didn't have her shit together. Kenya is she was a one-stop shop person for her brand. She branched out. She got different people to help her out. And now that all her products were delivered, she's good to go. CVS is giving her 5,000 stores, all right? Which is huge. That's a really big deal. CVS is a big brand. It's national, so that's good. So we get to Marlo. Marlo is coming into Sanya's house. She's coming over with her nephews. Tells her nephews in the car, act like you got some home training. Okay? Don't be up in here tearing up this lady's house, running amok. Basically, don't embarrass me. So Sanya reached out to Marlo and said that her and Ross want to spend some time with the boys. Give them, maybe that fatherly bonding moment that they're not getting at Marlo's house. So Sanya got them some little coveralls, and they're gonna learn how to change a tire and change the oil in the car. And them boys was looking like, who? Who gonna do it? So while they're doing that, Sanya and Marlo said that they were going to cook together. Sanya says she can't cook. I said, it's tacos. You can't make no tacos, girl? You can't make tacos? You don't even, you can get the little packet of mix. It's like 89 cents. Really, you really just need to add a little cumin, and that'll really give you the taco flavor that you're looking for. But whatever. So Marlo was meanwhile on her phone, and Sanya was like, are you ordering food? Marlo was like, no, I'm texting my daughter, my mother. Meanwhile, the camera comes, and Marlo is ordering food. It's a preparing order. I'm like, y'all can't make tacos? Okay. All right. So Ross is excited to teach Marlo's nephews, some of the smaller things that a father teaches their son. How to tie a tie, how to change a tire, how to do little things like that. And he feels that those are some of the things that he missed out as a teenager, when he was younger, because he didn't have that fatherly influence in his house with him. So he's excited to do that with the boys to help them out in any way that he can. They're outside, they're doing great. He's doing positive reinforcement. It looks like they all had a good time. Meanwhile, inside the house, Marlo asked Sanya when are they going to start working on the baby. Sanya is telling Marlo that, yep, she, that's what she was getting ready to tell her. Marlo doesn't know that it's IUD. So, Sanya said that her and Ross had a conversation, and Ross basically told her that if she's not committed to having a baby, then he doesn't want to have the baby either. He said he's committed to it. He wants it. He wants to have the baby. Sanya found that conversation sexy, so now she wants to have a baby. If you don't really want a baby, Sanya, don't have a baby. Finding the conversation sexy and the 2-minute conversation that y'all had, and then you suddenly flipping and wanting to bring an entire life and another life into this world when you were just saying how your husband basically checked out the first time, didn't help you out. You don't seem to want to be a mother to deuce. So it's okay, girl. All right. So we pan over to Sheree. Sheree is going to look at the venue for this fashion show. She said that she was supposed to have 24 pieces, but on the screen it's saying that she only has 5. I said, the entire episode, I was just, because like, I don't want to feel the secondhand embarrassment for people. I hate feeling secondhand embarrassment for people. And I felt it for Sheree. So the lady, she said the lady in New York that was making her samples promised her that she would be able to get all the pieces done, and now she's saying that she can't. She cannot get all the pieces done, and it's like, why can't you outsource? Why don't you have somebody in Atlanta making these pieces for you? There has to be somebody in Atlanta that can make these pieces for you. But I also feel like, I don't know why Sheree set up a date and booked a venue and did all this stuff without the pieces in her hand. Why wouldn't you get your pieces in and then say, okay, now that we got the pieces in, let's set out a fashion show in the next 3 weeks or something like that? I don't understand. Like, did you want the drama surrounding it? Did you secretly want it to fail? That's not weird to y'all? So we pan back over to Marlo. Marlo goes and picks up her mother. She asking her mother, where are your teeth? Her mother says she accidentally threw them away. So Marlo must have bought her like some dentures or something. She said she spent $5,000 on them. Her mother accidentally threw them away. So Marlo said, okay, we're going to get you some veneers then. Something that you can't throw away. So she goes and takes her mother to a little store. And she tells the store clerk that her mother owns a flea market back home. And she might be looking to wholesale some pieces and then just kind of get some pieces for herself. Has the store clerk get her mother water and say, get me wine. Because Marlo said, I can drink. I don't have the problem. So she wants to have a conversation with her mom. She said in public, because then maybe it'll keep them more on their like a better behavior type situation. She doesn't want her mom to get real loud and all that other type of stuff. So she figures if we do it that way, then, you know, maybe this conversation will go a little smoother. So Marla wants to know if her mother is done with drinking and drugs because her mom wants to move back to Atlanta and be more around the family. And then Marlo was like, you know, I just don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to go through this, that, and the other. Her mother said, you know, the worst thing that you have ever done to me was kick me out of that house. So apparently Marlo bought her mom a house. Her mother was living there. She wanted it to be a place where, like, if something happened to any of the kids in the family, they had somewhere to go. They wouldn't be put into foster care and put into the system. So Marlo had this house for her mother. Her mother was raising William and Michael. They were living with her. But then the house began, I guess Marlo got a phone call from her nephew saying that we need you to come get us. So they were like, it was drugs all over the house. People were in there selling drugs. People were in there doing drugs. It wasn't a safe, healthy environment for children or for anybody for that matter. She said when she went to go pick up her nephews, her mom was walking down the street high as a kite. So because of that, Marlo kicked her mother out of that house, and it looks like she got sent to Arkansas maybe to sober up and get herself together, and she's been doing relatively well since then. So Marlo talks about, well, you hurt me back when I was 10 and I missed you and I needed you. And her mother said, yeah, but I always came back for you. I always came back for you. So Marlo's mother is telling her now, like, come around more. Stop trying to stay away from us. Stop pushing everybody away. They have a moment together. Hopefully things work out for the best. I think that was the scene that really humanized Marlo, because we see her as such a villain because that's what she wants to portray on this show. You know what I mean? She doesn't know how to be anything but nasty. She doesn't know how to be anything but like a villain. So when you see Marlo in those scenes, it's like, damn, you could have really used your first year as a peach holder to like really have a better balance. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be a bitch because that's just what you are, okay. But you have to also show like a humanistic side to yourself that Marlo didn't show anybody. And because Marlo didn't show anybody that humanistic side, we don't care about Marlo. You know what I mean? So I think once she does, if she were to do that, if she gets a peach again, I think maybe she would be a little more well received. But I mean, as like sad as that scene was, I liked the scene because it made me like actually feel something for Marlo. It made me actually feel something for her. So then we have Sheree. Sheree's on the phone, and she's on the phone with somebody asking them, we're 4 days out from the fashion show, and Sheree is asking them how many pieces will be done. They say, well, maybe 10 to 11. And Sheree is like, will they be done tonight? And they're like, oh, we don't know that. And it's like, again, Sheree, why did you schedule a date when you don't have the pieces? Like, am I the only person finding that crazy? So then we have Kenya. Kenya is at CVS for her ribbon cutting, and she is just laughing and giggling and in such a great mood because that's huge. So KANDI and Sanya show up, and Kenya cuts the purple ribbon, and now we have Kenya Moore hair care officially in CVS. Drew came limping in, trying to rush in. She was late, but we understand. We're giving Drew a pass because she got this boot, okay? So they start talking about the fashion show, and Kenya said that she has 5 pieces. She was supposed to, and that Sheree has 5 pieces. And Drew was like, well, she wanted 15, right? Kenya said, no, she wanted 22. So it went from 22 down to 15. Now she's saying 5. So Drew then brings up how she hasn't paid her. Drew, don't bring it up no more because you knew, you had that whole conversation with your assistant that Sheree doesn't pay. So why would you then in turn go into some type of monetary and financial contract with her knowing that she doesn't pay? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. We got to think about things. And I don't want to keep hearing about it. I don't want to keep hearing about it at the reunion. You should have never went into that without telling her, give me your half of the money up front. If she doesn't give you her part of the money up front, then guess what? Won't be no damn party. That's how you do that. So we have KANDI. KANDI's meeting with her mom, with Mama Joyce. And she's talking about how she's been going to acting classes with Ace, putting him in acting. And she's thinking about finding like a little dance class for Blaze. She then tells her mom that her and Todd are working on putting together a trust. Her mother thinks that they should have a separate trust for the money that she made before she got married. And basically her mom is saying that whatever you made before you and Ty got married, that money should all go to Riley. Whatever is being made after you got married, which would then include Todd's money, that money can go to Ace and Blaze. Because Ace and Blaze benefited from having a father, Riley didn't. Mama Joyce, I get what she's saying. I do get what she's saying, but no. I don't. I'm sure KANDI has something set aside for Riley. I'm sure she has a trust and stuff for Riley. But KANDI's going to treat each of her kids equally. She's going to. So no, Mama Joyce. So then Mama Joyce is saying, don't leave everything to Todd and set up everything for another person to live off for you. So KANDI is saying she wouldn't want Todd to remarry. She doesn't mind if he dates and does everything like that if she were to pass away. But she doesn't want him to remarry because then that takes away money that she has made, that she has brought in, that should rightfully go to her kids, that now has to be split with another woman. That's why you have a will and testament, KANDI. So if that's what you want, if you were to pass away, then you need to take a portion of your money or however you want to split that and put that into a trust for the kids. But I mean, depending on if you were to pass away, hopefully no time soon, obviously, you can't say that you don't want him to ever marry again because you don't want that woman getting money when he can just as easily give that woman money now without being married. You know what I mean? So Kandi then tells her mom that the trust would kind of be run by Don Juan, and her mother thinks that it should be two people. And I said, I know where this is going. And Kandi was like, who? And she was like, me. Absolutely not, Mama Joyce, because if something were to happen to Kandi, you would not give Todd a thing. That's why Kandi is not going to do that. So we get to Sheree. The venue was all set up. It looks beautiful, very elegant, very classy. So Sheree's telling Rhoa that she has 5 pieces and still waiting on 19. Still waiting on 19. Rhoa said if it's somewhere in the United States, I will fly there today and pick them up. Don't even worry about this. Is the day before. I will fly there today and pick them up. Sheree said, well, can you finish making them too? And Rhoa looked like, why did I sign up to work on this? Why did I agree to take this job? So Rhoa said they need at least 15 minutes for a show. If we can get 15 minutes worth of footage, then we can call it an actual show. Otherwise, it's just going to be like an expose, I guess, like just an appearance or a fashion presentation. It's not going to be a show, though. So Rhoa called someone in, I didn't catch the person's name, to help out with models. So they now have professional models. Sheree must have opened up that budget, and everything's going great. I'm actually wondering, like, did Sheree have everything set up in place all along, and she was just using not being prepared as a storyline? Because that's literally what her storyline was. It makes you wonder, right? So while they're in the rehearsal place, Tyrone comes in. And Tyrone is like, why you ain't asked me to model? And Sheree is like, what are you doing here? We ain't talked. What are you doing here? So her daughter didn't even know who the hell Tyrone was. So her daughter was like, who is that? Who is that? Yo, who is that? Production was like, Tyrone. Real loud. I said, no discretion whatsoever. Why whisper it if you're going to be that loud? Why whisper it if you're going to be that loud? So Sheree said that she invited Tyrone's cousin, who she's very close with. So she's assuming that his cousin told Tyrone. So Tyrone, they go to the side to talk. And Tyrone, or actually Sheree is like, so it's wild how you can show up here, but when I was in your city, we couldn't meet up at all. And Tyrone said, yeah, because I wasn't going to go back to prison with you. Sheree is like, but you were going to come to New York where you knew we were going to be filming too. He said he got approved for that. He didn't get approved to be filmed in Philly. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why would your parole officer say, yeah, you can cross state lines and you can go up to New York to this Broadway show, and that's no problem being on camera, but you can't meet with just the two of y'all at a coffee house? So Sheree was like, don't you think you owe me an apology? Tyrone said, and don't, because I'm not going to go back to prison. That's all he kept saying. Tyrone came because he wanted to be on one last episode, because it looked like Tyrone was like walking in circles, trying to make sure that he was like in the shot. He had no real reason to be there aside from, yeah, he wanted to come possibly get into an argument with Sheree so he could be on the show. So Apollo walks over and tells Tyrone that, I heard about what happened. You don't leave your queen unattended. Tyrone said, you're on the wrong side. I said, that's childish. Apollo is none of your business. But to say you're on the wrong side, he's not picking sides. He's making a very factual statement. That's what he's doing. So Apollo is in his confessional. It's under section 32. I said, Apollo. Apollo. Section 32, huh? Okay. He's in under section 32. You have a right to media contact. And I love how the producers put on the screen, not a legal scholar. Section 32 of what? Apollo, of what? Whoosh. So Tyrone then, or Sheree then walks over by Tyrone again, because Tyrone is like standing and like staring at her looking awkward. And she's like, so you still don't think you owe me an apology? It gets kind of loud and he's like, no, we can apologize to each other. For what? For what, Tyrone? What is she apologizing for? So she was like, well, if you can't apologize, you don't need to be here and you can leave. So ultimately he leaves. So we go to Marlo. Marlo is meeting up with her mom, showing her mom Lit Archive. Um, and she's showing her the different pieces and all that type of stuff. We then get a flashback to Marlo apologizing to Kandi on FaceTime when she was in that one store with her mother and invited her to come and meet her mom. And Kandi was like, yeah, I would love to meet your mom. Kandi just want to find out why you act the way you do. That's why she wants to meet your mom. So her and her mom have this conversation and they get into it about her, I guess her mom having a boyfriend or wanting a boyfriend or talking to some guy. And Marlo feels like, why do you always have to have a man? Why do you feel like you constantly need a man? And Marlo feels that because her mom has always valued having a relationship or having a man, you know, to like kind of validate her, her mom, like Marlo is... She feels like she's always had to compete with a man for her mom's attention, her mom's love, her mom's affection. So she's like getting visibly upset again because it seems like in Marlo's mind, she's like excited that her mom is seeming sober and clean, and she wants to, you know, be able to hang out with her mom and, you know, try to rebuild their connection. While they're kind of going back and forth, Kandi comes in and Marlo like kind of like shuffles out of the room, and it's clear that Marlo's visibly upset. She's probably trying to hold back some tears, and Kandi was like, is everything okay? Because now it's awkward. Marlo comes back in and her mom apologizes and said, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. And Marlo was like, no, it's fine, whatever. Like, because she doesn't want to show that emotion, that hurt in front of Kandi. So Kandi is talking to, they have some food come out. It was like Philly cheesesteak egg rolls and salmon egg rolls, or what were those, chimichangas? Something rolled and fried. So Kandi's first question was, how to her mother, how old were you when you started using drugs? And I was like, I'm gonna hope that a lot of that conversation was cut out, and that's not how Kandi approached this conversation. That's just me. So Kandi said that seeing, you know, what Marlo went through with her mother, even though her mom is overbearing and opinionated, it makes her appreciate and value her mom even more. And then Kandi suggests if they've ever thought about going to like some type of counseling together. So we see Sheree. Sheree now has all 24 of her pieces and a couple bonus pieces. So she now has a full fashion line of 27 pieces for this show. While they're there and things are going on, moving parts, one of the models falls on the damn runway because it's too slippery. And I said, better she fall now. Y'all address how slippery it is. Y'all can baby powder it up, and then we can move on. I have done a fashion show before, and it is slippery. It definitely is slippery. So we see Kenya. Kenya is letting baby Brooklyn pick out her dress. Brooklyn said, I want to go. I don't want to pick out your outfit. I want to go. Kenya was like, I think it's just grown-ups there. And her daughter was like, well, can I get a new dress? Like, I don't care about nothing you about to wear. I want to go and I want to dress. Brooklyn is so cute. So we get to the night of the fashion show. Kenya's dress was gorgeous. Everything. Kenya looked beautiful. I didn't care for Kandi's dress. Sanya looked the best she's looked all season. I feel like Drew always looks nice face-wise. Drew gonna dress up that boot if she don't do nothing else. And I'm not a fan of animal print, so I did not like what Marlo had on. So Marlo comes in, though, and said that she thinks Sheree and Tyrone are getting married tonight. Everybody was like, what? She was like, Tyrone's here. He's outside. He got on a black and white suit with some flowers. I just saw him. And they were all like, what? So Tyrone goes up and he gives Sheree the flower. Sheree is on the phone, barely acknowledges him, right? Because she's still mad. It's kind of like, oh, you came back. In her confessional, Sheree is like, not only why is he here, but these look like they came from the grocery store. We're not going to shit on grocery store flowers. Grocery store flowers can look nice, but those did not look like they came from a florist, okay? So she introduces Tyrone to her mom, and her mom was like, who? And she was like, Prison Bae. And Tyrone looked embarrassed, and Sheree is like, that's how she's gonna know you. So he kind of sits down, and Sheree's not paying him any mind, and it's like, Tyrone, why did you come back today, sweets? What's going on? What's going on? Downstairs, where everybody's coming in, we see Dwight. I'm just happy that Dwight's hair is done. As opposed to when we saw Dwight, 15 years ago at this point, 14, 15 years ago. So Dwight said he is proud of her, but Dwight is looking for something to go wrong with this fashion show. So Tyrone walks over to all the ladies, and they're all like, "Hey, Tyrone," and he's like, "Good to see you. I done met you before. All right, good to see you. All right, okay, Kenya. Okay, good to see you." So in the confessional, Kenya was like, "I don't like him. I know a snake when I see one." Sanya was like, "Meh." Like nobody's overly impressed, but they all have the same sentiment. It's time to let him go, Sheree. It is time to let him go. So Peter's ass. Peter runs over, hugs Sheree, and hugs Kenya. Kenya was like, your pants are unzipped. And then he just runs away. And she was like, it's okay. He didn't hear nothing I said. I said, oh. I don't know if Kenya didn't realize her mic was hot or if she didn't care. But production could have edited that out. So we go from the show being an hour late, the ladies are all standing around, to now they finally get seated, and the show now goes on to being 2 hours late. They zoom in on Dwight. Who said, "I'm ready to go." Dwight was ready to go. And I feel like 2 hours late is ridiculous. 2 hours late is ridiculous. 2 hours late is ridiculous. I don't care. 2 hours. I think when weddings start that late, ridiculous. Their times are set for a reason. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Times are set for a reason. So, we then go to the fashion show starts. And a lot of the stuff did look nice. I like some of the jogger suits. The ladies' commentary, everybody was saying very positive things about it. There was this very handsome white guy that came out, and Kenya stood up. She said she liked the way that he filled out his joggers, and Kenya stood up and was posing, kind of come hither. Because Kenya's going to try to get her a man if she don't do nothing else. And then after the show went great. It was a huge success. After the show, Sheree is walking around speaking to everybody, ignoring Tyrone. And it was very obvious. So Tyrone's standing there looking like she ain't going to speak. She's not going to speak to you. She's not. She said in her confessional that she's done with him. That chapter is closed. So at the end, she tells all the ladies to walk out and give me your best strut. And while they're walking out, we hear some of their biggest lines from the season. It's echoing, and then we get the flash forward or a synopsis of what they've been doing since the show has wrapped filming. So Sanya did take her IUD out. They are, working on having their second child. KANDI and Ty still ain't finished their trust, but she is now producing another play on Broadway. Drew still has not read Ralph's book, but it's due out any day. Did you write that forward? Marlo is breaking ground on her house very soon. And then Kenya and baby Brooklyn spent the summer together in, did it say London or England? So they spent the summer overseas, traveling, having a great time, the two of them. And then Sheree says she is no longer with Tyrone. She is supposedly with Martell from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And She by Sheree is finally available for purchase, they say. Now, I myself went to the website when they put the little countdown banner on, and it did not pop up as available for anything to shop for me. If Sheree did do it in a way that when you come on there now, the site is ready to go. I like it. I'm on the site right now. I'm clipping shop, and you cannot buy anything. If Sheree was smart, that site would have been launched and ready to go as soon as the episode ended. But let me know what you guys thought about tonight's episode. If you have not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and thumbs up the video. I will catch you guys next week for the reunion.